Time for the fact file. Header and footer are not displayed in normal view. To view them on the screen, click on the print view or print layout view.
The next step is to insert column and column break.
When you type a document, it is displayed on the screen in single column style or in paragraph style. If you wish to format the document in newspaper style or display it in an interesting new look, Word enables you to create 2 or more columns in your document.
Okay, students, note some important points.
You can also insert columns by clicking on Columns button in Page Setup group on the Page Layout tab and selecting the More Columns option from drop-down menu. Select the desired option like 2 from Presets section. Click on drop-down arrow in Apply to text box and select Whole Document and click on OK. Click on Equal Column Width checkbox to define columns of equal width. To create columns of different widths, specify width in the spin boxes. It will be activated only if you deselect the Equal Column Width checkbox. To insert a line between the columns, click on the Line Between checkbox.
Students, let me guide you how to use column button.
The easiest way to create a multi-column document is to use the Columns button in the Page Setup group on the Page Layout tab. Select the text. Click on the Columns button. A drop-down menu displays the choices of columns. Select the number of columns you would like to insert.
We will now discuss the insertion of column break.
If you have already added columns to your Word document, then you might have noticed that some of the columns are not as balanced as you would like. One way to this problem is to add a column break. It will force the end of the column and move that text to the beginning of a new column. Place the cursor before the text where you want to insert column break. Click on the Breaks button on the Page Layout tab and select Column option from the drop-down menu. You will observe that the text where you have placed the cursor will shift to the next column.
Before we move further, can you quickly differentiate between column breaks and page breaks? Now, let me explain to you about working with tabs.
A great way to draw attention to specific text is to indent it. The most common way to indent the text is to use the Tab key. Tab key is used to move the cursor at certain spaces in a document. By default, tab stops are set at every 0.5 inch. You can set the tab stops along the ruler according to your requirements. When you press the tab key, the cursor automatically jumps to the next tab. Tabs can also be created using leaders line. Let us insert dots or dashes in the space leading up to the tab stop. Tab stops can be set by clicking on the Page Layout tab. Click on the Paragraph dialog box launcher and click on the Tabs button. Type a tab position, for example 1.25 inches in the Tab Stop Position text box. Select any of the alignment options and click on the Set button. Similarly, set a new tab at 3 and click on OK. Now press the Tab key. The cursor will jump to the next position where you have set the tab stop. Ctrl+1 single line spacing. Ctrl+2 double line spacing. Ctrl+5 1.5 line spacing. These shortcuts will not work from the numeric keypad. Let me share another tip.
Students, note that you can quickly set tabs by clicking the tab selector at the left end of the ruler until it displays the type of tab that you want, and then clicking the ruler at the location you want. Okay, let me now tell you about indenting text.
Indenting feature is used to move the complete paragraph or the first line to a specific number of places from the left or right margin. Indenting basically draws the reader's attention. Select the text to be indented. Click on the Increase Indent button in the paragraph group on the Home tab. The selected text will shift ½ inch away from the left margin. Click on the Decrease Indent button to move the text ½ inches closer to the left margin. Line spacing is the amount of space between the lines of text in a paragraph. Click on Indents and Spacing tab in the Paragraph dialog box and click on the drop-down menu of Line Spacing. Select any line spacing option.
Time for some interesting tips.
Each time you click on the Increase Indent button, the paragraph will move ½ inch away from the left margin. You can also adjust the indents by dragging method. Select the paragraph and drag the first line indent, left indent or right indent.
Alright, now let me explain about setting paragraph spacing.
Paragraph spacing determines the amount of spaces above or below a paragraph. Follow the steps to set the spacing before or after a paragraph. Select the paragraph whose spacing you want to change. Click on the Paragraph dialog box launcher option on the Home tab.
The Paragraph dialog box will open.
Select the Indents and Spacing tab. Under Spacing, enter the spacing you want in the before or after box. Click on OK.